Afternoon. I think it is afternoon, right? Is it like 12:20?
Yeah.
Everybody listening here, welcome to the Uncle Fred and TK Pick'em show for week 3 in the NFL, man. It's already third week in the NFL. I got my man TK with me, back again. First time this year, first of many. We're going to be trying to come and do this every week and give you our perspective on the upcoming games, the things we feel like with our expertise, the things we feel like that's going to happen in the week to come. So say hello to everybody, TK. Let them know what's up. Let them know what's going on, man.
What's up? What's up, man? Happy to be back once again. New season, new opportunities, new picks, all that good stuff. You've been holding it down, Uncle Fred. So just gonna come do my part. You know what I mean? Try to make some picks that sound about right.
Okay. I'm holding it. I don't know if I'm holding it down. I'm holding it, but anyway, I got it both. I got both hands on it, but I don't know if I'm holding it down or not. But I'm trying. I'm giving it everything I got, man. Giving it everything I got.
That's it. That's the part.
But we'll be back in just a second. Hang tight with us for our Pick'em show. We'll be back in just a minute.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
All right. As again, welcome to the Uncle Fred TK Pick'em show for week 3 in the NFL. And so for weeks 1 and 2, there were some things that we kind of went the way we thought. You know, in the NFC, pretty much 3 teams and emerged as kind of the teams to beat. And that would be the 49ers, the Eagles, and of course, Dallas Cowboys have kind of stepped to the forefront as being the the sort of the teams to beat. We do know it's a long season. There have been a couple of teams that I thought would be a little better than they are from my perspective, like maybe the Seattle Seahawks. And like I said, it's a long season. You can have a hiccup here or there and still come out and have a great season. So things like that. And then there's some other teams like the Bears, which I kind of felt like was going to be, maybe a playoff team, and they may still very well could be, but they're out to it. They stumbled out to an 0-2 hole, and then there are some teams that still kind of, still finding their way. The Packers, and then there's some teams that are surprising. Like nobody thought the Rams or the Buccaneers would be good, and they're 1-1 and 2-0 respectively. So, as I say with the NFL, man, sometimes you never know what you're gonna get. It always gives you a surprise, and there's always, you can predict all you want. There's always something in there that you never think is gonna happen, man. So,
oh yeah, it's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it. Like Chris Berman said, that's why they play the games. That's why they play them. So, any other insights you got? And we're gonna go right on to these pick'ems, man.
I'm ready to, get started.
Let's get it. Let's get it, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We know we got a plethora of 12 o'clock games and just a sprinkling of 3 o'clock games. The schedule kind of unbalanced this week. All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and just look at our schedule here. Our 12 o'clock noon games. So the first game we're gonna look at is the Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm gonna, now I know off the top, I'm gonna pick the Ravens, okay, because I just believe that the Ravens, with Lamar, I know OBJ's not playing. I don't think I'm looking at my injury report right here for that game. Come on there. Where are you at? Where's that injury report for that game? So I know I saw some things on that one. Here we go. Yeah, Ravens. Odell Beckham is out. Ooh, Ronnie Stanley is out. That's their starting left tackle. Tyler Lindenbaum. Is their starting center. That kind of hurts too. And Justice Hill, Marlon Humphrey. Ooh, they kind of banged up. TK.
Yeah, they banged up on both
They're,
sides.
they're, they're big time banged up. I thought it was just a couple dudes. You can't have half your offensive line not playing.
Yeah, they're pretty banged up. But A. Rich is injured and out with a concussion, or at least under the concussion protocol. The other
Who's that?
side, Anthony Richardson.
Richardson, yes.
Yeah, so Minshew will get the go. I mean, I have to pick the Ravens at home despite the litany of injuries, just because Lamar Jackson suiting up. I think they find a way. They're one of the teams that throughout the years that are capable of, sort of putting a Band-Aid in places and areas and making it work. And, I expect them to be able to do so in this one, despite all the guys out. Figure a way to get out a tough, gritty win, focus on the run game, make it a dog fight and get out of there at home with a win. So that's what I'm going, man. If we're picking scores this year, kind of got like a 17-10 type of feel to me,
Yeah. I see that. And I think what the injuries will make this game a lot closer than it would have normally been.
For sure.
That's what I see. Because now they got some guys out too. Like you said, Richardson out in concussion protocol. Ron Kelly is out. So both centers not playing, right? Yeah. And then questionable Quentin Nelson. He may or may not play. He may be the best guard playing. So you're missing a lot of your offensive line too. And of course, now Minshew is a good quarterback. I think he don't get as much snap as he should get. And I think he can play. He can obviously you can open the offense up a little bit with him. And everything. But like I said, with all the injuries, I think that's just gonna make the game just a little bit closer. But I still got the Ravens by a whisker. You say 17-10, I'll go, 20 to 17. Something along those lines. All right, 20 to 17 or something like that. But I'll look for a close game. Now, there's a game that I think a miscue or something here or there could go the other way. I think the Colts could possibly win this game, but I think some things have to happen for them to win that, and I think Baltimore would actually have to lose the game for them to win it. So I got Baltimore winning. I got Baltimore in that game. So I think we're both in agreement. You got Baltimore. I got Baltimore. And we'll move on to game number 2. Game number 2 has got some significance to you because it's your hometown team. We're going to go with the Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'll move on to the injury report on that one, which is right under here. Cleveland's got some injuries. Greg Newsome, their fine cornerback, he's out. And then James Hudson, who's an offensive tackle, he's and I think one of their linebackers, I think his name is Taki. I think he was on the injury report. He had a sack last week against the Steelers. The Titans, offensive lineman they picked up in the draft, Peter Skoronski. He's out. Karis Johnson is out. Y'all defensive lineman who's been good this year, Denico Autry. He's questionable.
Yeah.
And Hopkins is questionable with an ankle. Okay. So, I think here's the thing. For whatever reason, and of course now the big injury that they didn't put on Hicker Cleveland, obviously Nick Chubb is out because he had that gruesome injury on Monday night against the Steelers. Man, prayers up for Nick Chubb, or an injury that they can't show on TV because it's not for public viewing. And so that's a big chunk out of their armor, man, because they are a running team with an offensive line that is physical. They run the football. Deshaun Watson, he's kind of been, finding his way a little bit here or there. But missing Nick Chubb is going to be kind of hard to overcome. I know they got my man Jerome Ford. He had a nice like 50-something yard run against the Steelers. He's a good. Came out of Cincinnati. I remember him in college. Actually he was at Bama first, and the running back room got kind of crowded, so he, got the transfer portal or whatever and went to Cincinnati, and they got in the championship game, championship semifinals. He's a good back, and they picked up Kareem Hunt just this past week. So, that'll help a little bit. Tennessee, I think, is playing very well. They could easily be 2-0 right now. Lost a 1-point game in week 1. Beat the Chargers in week 2 in overtime. They got my man Simmons and, of course, my man Autry on the defensive line. He's a little banged up, but I think he's going to play. Hopkins, and they finally getting something out of my man out of Arkansas. He had a nice catch last week. I can't think. His name is slipping my mind right now, but
Burks.
Treylon Burks. And, Derrick Henry's doing what Derrick Henry does, getting the tough yards. He's not had the breakaway run yet this season. He's getting, I think he had like 20 carries for like 75 yards or something last week, kind of pedestrian, but he's getting the big yards. I think when they were setting up the field goal, he got the big run to kind of set it up. So he's doing what he's doing. And then you got a guy, Tyjae Spears, I think is his name, out of Tulane, kind of running the ball good. So you got a nice 1-2 punch. But I got Tennessee winning this game, man, because Deshaun Watson, for some reason, has not kind of found his way. And as good a defense as Cleveland is playing, I just think the Tennessee Titans are playing just as good a defense, but their offense is more on cue. I got the Titans, man.
I'm going the other way, man. I got Cleveland at home.
You going against your own hometown team, man?
I got to call it straight down.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I hope you change your number and stuff, man. You can't be doing that, man.
Got to call it down the middle, man. I think those guys being at home, Nick Chubb's devastating injury will, see a rally from his teammates. They don't want to get this one done. I think they're very capable. That defensive pressure coupled with that stout secondary Cleveland has been on full display the first 2 weeks. And, Ryan Tannehill comes into an environment where he's already shown once, in the first 2 games. Under pressure, he can make a lot of untimely mistakes. And I think Cleveland's going to hang their hat on the idea of that. They're going to create some pressure in the backfield, get him routed a little bit, see if he'll throw a couple up for grabs. Man, they got guys on that back end that can go get it. So, it's a tight game. It's kind of like a 23-20 type of field, 2017, 23-20 type of field, come down to the wire type of game. But I'll lean with the home team. Because to be honest, I don't think either team has a significant advantage one way or another. So it's pretty evenly matched for the most part to me. And if that's going to be the case, give me the home team. So
you're going with the home team. So you got the Browns winning. Now, like I said, the Browns play a nasty form of defense. Their defense is top 5. Right? Got Myles Garrett is playing. He's playing at DPOY kind of at that level, and they got Zadarius Smith they picked up in the offseason. So they got a nice 1-2 punch in their pass rush now. So they're coming, right? Yeah. Myles Garrett is almost unblockable, right? And then you got Skoronski and some other guys missed on the offensive line. So I see your point. I just think right now Tennessee is more as a more complete team in terms of I think they're getting more at the quarterback position than them. That's kind of where I put my on Tennessee as opposed to Cleveland. And of course they got the big injury with Chubb out, and so I think you can't unsee that. So that's why I got Tennessee. But you got Cleveland. I got Tennessee. Like I said, it's going to be a 3-point game regardless. So it's two evenly matched teams that run the football and play good defense, which is the way old school football is played. So we're gonna see. All right, that's game number 2. All right. All right, so that's game number 2. Um, okay, I guess we could do it like that. That's fine. Uh, number 3. Let's see here. We're going with the Broncos at the Dolphins. Look, man, this one I ain't no whole lot of deliberation on this one. The Dolphins are playing like one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the AFC. Let me tell you something what Tua is doing. I was listening to this the other day. It's a stat that really it's almost like diametrically opposed, right? And I had to figure out what that meant. That means 2 things on opposite ends of the equator that don't supposed to meet up, right? So Tua is getting the ball out the quickest. I think it's like 2.11 seconds or some crazy stat like that. But then his depth of target measurables is like the biggest. So I'm like, so how is it possible to throw it the quickest and you're throwing it further? Don't make sense. You know, it just goes to show you that with Mike McDaniel and Tua and Tyreek and Waddle, I think Waddle is questionable for this game.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go with River Cray Cray. That's what I call him. Cray Cray. They'll go with him, and they got some other receivers on there, but of course, it all goes with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But yeah. Jalen Waddle was questionable. Teron Armstead is questionable. That's a big one right there. Jalen Waddle had he's in concussion sort of protocol. Teron Armstead's had that back, ankle, and knee kind of thing. He's been having issue with that back for a minute. And then Jalen Phillips, his linebacker, was kind of, I didn't see anything for Denver. So, I don't really see nothing on the injury report for the Broncos. I don't think it matters. Half of the Dolphins could be on the injury reserve, and nobody for the Broncos. I'm still going Dolphins. And because I think the Dolphins have not really, the Broncos really hadn't proven that and sometimes it takes time, but the Broncos have been bitten by the injury bug early in the season because they don't have none of their wide receivers. I think they're going because Jerry Jeudy's been banged up. He not on the injury report, but I know he kind of been banged up, and I know what's the kid got hurt in the preseason with an ACL, and I'm like, dadgum, they can't get a break, man. Was it Patrick? Or was it because I know they still got Cortland Sutton still is playing? I think it's Tim Patrick. And but I got the Dolphins, man, because I think they're the more complete team. I think Tua and those guys are just playing out of their minds right now. And if they can get just a little bit of pass protection, you're not covering them dudes. And for the record, the Denver Broncos, who've been known for having good defense, their defense has experienced some how can we say slippage this year. They're getting like giving up 70% completion percentage and some other like metrics that are like way off the charts from what they used to have done. So I got the Dolphins, man, by probably about a couple of touchdowns. What say you?
Well, first thing, man, Tyreek Hill lined up across Patrick Surtain is box office. So looking forward to seeing that matchup. Best of the best type of cross match. Hopefully he trails Tyreek across the field. That's a great matchup, individual matchup to watch in this. From a totality standpoint, I'm going Miami, though I do think highly of that Denver defense a little more than you. So I think this game will be a little closer than that, but ultimately, when it comes to Russell Wilson, man, I'm still out on Russ. So this would be a statement game for them if they wanted to show that they can go punch, Miami in the mouth and take one. That'll go a long way towards establishing credibility in the Sean Payton era for them. But until I see it, I can't pick them to beat Miami. Miami has a formula. They run their formula to a T. And as you said, because of the speed at receiver, they can get the ball out quick, take pressure off Tua. But the speed of those guys means they can run up under those balls, man. And, so it's a wide radius of field they have to work with despite the quick release. And it's just, I'd like to see somebody stop it. So
I would too. Yeah, I ain't seen nobody stop it yet. Hey, TK, can you turn your volume up just a little bit? Or maybe
it's probably just turn me up.
So, there we go. We good. That's good now. We good now.
Yeah, man. I'm going Miami.
Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going Miami, man. But I just think their defense is formidable enough to try and keep the game for as long as possible. And the pressure's just back on Russ to get it done. I don't know that he can. I don't know that he will. I just need to see it. So till then, man, I can't.
I ain't seen it, man. I mean, somewhere, man. Pete Carroll and John Schneider, I think that's the GM for said, they sitting there with their arms folded, like, we tried to tell y'all, man. We tried to tell y'all because everybody thought they was fools.
Yeah.
I was one of them. I was one of them. I was like, man, y'all got rid of Russ, man. Y'all fixing to suck. Y'all fixing to be in the lottery. And then Pete's like, nah, man. We see what y'all don't see. So I don't know. Russ got to show me now, man. I'm with you on that. I mean, you got Sean Payton, and I know he knows more about offense than I know, and forgotten more than I know, and he knows definitely how to put guys in the right position and get more juice out of that lemon than a lot of coaches. And to be honest, Russ had good numbers, man, last week against the Commanders. Had that nice Hail Mary at the end of the game, just couldn't complete the 2-point conversion to seal the deal or whatever, to push it to overtime. But, man, you couldn't beat the Commanders, right? Really? So, yeah. So, well, I got, like you said, he got to show that to me, and I ain't seen it yet. So we both got the Dolphins. So we'll move on to game number 4 here. So this is going to be an interesting one here. We got the Patriots, the New England Patriots, at the New York Jets, at the New York Football Jets. Okay. Both teams coming off of losses. Patriots coming off of a game where, they played the Miami Dolphins. That was good. They played a tough game. Miami had to kind of play to beat them, right? Yeah. And the Jets went into AT&T Stadium and sort of, they kind of like, didn't kind of. What did Nate Hackett say? Man, we underestimated Micah Parsons. We didn't know he was that good. I'm like,
it's quite a statement,
dude. I wouldn't say that in public, but okay, dude. All right. Stuff you say to your team or stuff you say amongst your coaching staff, like, dang, we gotta prepare better. I wouldn't have said that with an open mic, but whatever. I mean, that's just me. So, and yeah, they kind of got they handed to them against my Cowboys, but so they go this week against the New England Patriots, who have beaten them, like 11 straight times or something like that.
And
something like that, yeah. Is it something like that?
Yeah, it is. I think it's like 10 straight times. I think
is it 14 straight?
No, just 10. Goodness. Just 10.
Huh?
Just 10.
10. Okay. This game is a couple of games this week is going to determine the paths of teams. This is one of them. I think in a couple of picks down the road here is going to be 2 other teams. The game that we're picking today is going to determine where they go from here. Because if now New England loses this game and they go 0-3, I know Belichick has a lot of goodwill in the bank because ain't no coach alive can say that he got 6 Super Bowl rings, but Bill Belichick. Nobody that's played the game or coached the game got 6 rings. Okay. But we live in a society of what have you done for me lately? And as unfair as that may seem, you still coaching. You still putting a team out there, fans and the people that paid for the tickets, the people that that own it, they expect you to be competitive, and so if they go 0-3, as much accomplished, as much decorated as Bill is, they kind of gonna be coming for him, TK. I mean, I hate saying that, and it seemed like, oh no, he got a job long as he wanted. Not in today's NFL, right? And then the Jets, I know they had a heartbreaking thing to start the season when Aaron Rodgers didn't even get to throw a pass for them, because we all wanted to see what that looked like, that defense. Let's not get it twisted. Now, I was talking about how they got their butts handed to them by the Cowboys. Nobody's saying nothing about the Jets' defense. Their defense is still top notch. That's a top 5 defense, right? Quinnen Williams is the best defensive tackle in the NFL right now. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody playing better at the defensive tackle position than Quinnen Williams, all right? And you'd be hard pressed to find somebody playing better at the cornerback position than Sauce Gardner. Okay, so they got pieces. It'd be hard to find somebody playing the middle linebacker better than C.J. Mosley. They got pieces. That's a good defense, right? And so they're playing against the New England Patriots. Mac Jones, he got Bill O'Brien, coach, pulling the triggers for him now. So they've not looked as good as how I thought maybe they would look. They really don't have a lot of weapons. You got Keyon Butte, and you got Kendrick Bourne, Ramondre Stevens at running back, and you got what's left of our boy, from Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott. You got what's left of him. So they're really not blessed in the weapons department. And you playing a top-notch defense. I don't know. Maybe this is the year the Jets get over the top, man. And maybe Zach Wilson figures some stuff out, because if not, Belichick gonna have him seeing ghosts. Okay, like he was seeing last week. What say you? If I got to pick,
I was waiting. Who you got?
Give me the Jets, man. Give me the Jets.
Right. Well, I'm going the other way, man. I got 6-ring Bill all day. Back against the wall. I need the Teflon Don, man. I need
Teflon Don.
I need Hoodie Bill. Yeah. I got.
You saying Bill's the Don Dada, man? He the Don Dada.
Yeah. I got Bill.
Okay.
I got faith in Bill. They need this win. It's a rivalry game. He knows those guys on the other side. They don't have Aaron Rodgers at the day. I just think it's going to be a gritty game. It's not going to be exciting. If you're not a fan of either team, it's probably not a game you're circling for tomorrow. But at the end, Nick Folk to the field goal and take them home.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay. The end of the day, man, it's going to be one of them kickers, former Cowboys, making the kick to win the game. Nick Folk used to play for the Cowboys, and so did Zerline. He played for the Cowboys, I think, last year. So,
Cowboys world.
I got to put a Cowboy plug in there, man. I got to put a Cowboy plug in there. Former Cowboy running back, former Cowboy kickers, man.
Yeah.
I got to put a Cowboy sprinkle in there. But you got the Don Dada. I got the Jets. I think the Jets break through. We'll see what happens on that. So we'll see what happens. All right. Next, we got the Bills at the Commanders. This is gonna be interesting. Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. Because the reason I say that is because, for as much as the Bills have been, they're a talented bunch, man. They don't have nothing on the injury report either. The Commanders got Logan Thomas. That's all that's on the injury report with a concussion. So it's going to be pretty much most of these teams going to be full strength. Bills has not been as, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, as now they were good against the Raiders last week. Now I think it was 38-10. So I'm not going to poo-poo that. I think it's come to a point, man, where teams are trying to are making Josh Allen make throws now. And sometimes they're fooling him into different coverages with different coverages. And there's some things I think he's gonna have to figure out. And like sometimes, like when the journey is over on some pass plays and some run plays, he's going to have to learn that. The Washington Commanders have a very formidable defense, especially on the front line. They have probably one of the most formidable defensive lines playing. They're going to get pressure tomorrow. With Chase Young playing, he's playing. And let's put it this way: Chase Young is playing for a contract because the Commanders did not pick up his fifth-year option because he had that bad knee injury a couple of years ago, and then they had to take tissue from the other knee to make the other knee good. So it kind of compromised both knees, and so he kind of got that going. But he's having a great first couple of games in this season, and so you got him, you got Daron Payne, Jonathan Williams, and you got Montez Sweat. You'd be hard pressed to find another four better defensive linemen than those four, right? So it's going to be a close game. I got the Bills, but don't be surprised if it's close. Don't be surprised if it's close. I think the Bills got to figure out how to get them, get more efficiency out of their offense. They picked up Dalton Kincaid, so they can play a lot of 12 personnel with him and Dawson Knox, I think that's his name, to go with Stephon Diggs and they still have Isaiah McKenzie, right? They still have him, right?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe
because I know they had a nice 2 wide receiver set here, and so they got weapons. James Cook and Damian Harris that they got from the Patriots. They picked up in the offseason. They got weapons. It's just a matter of putting them in the right places and being more efficient and smarter with the football. If they can get through this game and not turn the football over, I got the Bills winning. But if they can get pressure, make Josh turn the ball over a time or two, I think the Commanders might can steal this one. But I got the Bills.
Bills Mafia all day for me. All day. I do love that Washington front four, like you said. But I think it's getting popular to pour gravy on the hate train when it comes to the Bills and Josh Allen. But I'm not at all on that side of the fence. So they should have won week 1. They fumbled it. They didn't. They got to wear that. But they righted the ship last week. And I would say they're going to handily win this game. I respect Washington's defense a little more than that. But I will say the outcome won't be in doubt towards the end. So maybe a 10, 12-point cushion or something like that. I know we don't do spreads, so they'll win comfortably. Probably not a blowout, but comfortable win. The Bills got real ambitions, man. So I can't see them taking a step back, with a blip on the radar like Washington. I don't see it.
So. Okay. I feel that. Like I said, if you go by just straight player for player, you can't argue that the Bills are way more talented than them because you got questions at quarterback with the Sam Howell. You don't know. I mean, they got decent running backs with Brian Robinson and J.J. McKissick. J.D. McKissick, I think. I think he and as a backup. I mean, they're decent. But the Bills are just loaded to me. Offensively, defensively. Probably one of the best safety combos in the NFL. Micah Hyde and God, what's the other guy's name? Jordan Poyer, right? Jordan Poyer. So I'm, the Tre'Davious White, and what's my man name that's coming back? He's back this year. Names escape me like that, but yeah, they're loaded. So it's all like I said. If Washington can turn them over a couple times, a lot of times turnovers make better teams not as good as they are because it kind of evens the playing field. So that's what I be talking about. If Buffalo plays a clean game, I see exactly what you're talking about. I could see a 10, 15 point victory. But if they can get pressure, make him see something he don't see, or make him throw it early, and what's that kid they picked up out of Mississippi State? I can't think his name, but cornerback. He's a ball hawk. I could see them picking off for one or two of those. But if it's a clean game, man, Buffalo should win this one going away. But I got them winning it. So we'll see what happens. Moving right along, we're both in agreement there. Moving on to game number 5, I guess. Moving right along here, we got the Falcons at the Lions. Now, this right here might be one of the better games of the 12 o'clock slot. Two teams with a lot of that have not had a lot of historical success, but have played well in the early goings of this season, where it's giving those fan bases some hope that, hey, man, we might have some nice young team here. A lot of people were on Detroit before the season started. Nobody was really thinking about the Falcons, but you wake up and the Falcons are 2-0. And have beat the Packers last week. And the Packers, showed some promise week 1. So he's like, oh, okay, they beat the Packers, right? So we're looking at this game. I'm searching for the injury reports. What I'm doing, what your boy doing. That's why I'm looking over here to my right here. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Falcons. Jeff Okudah. Questionable, and Cordero Patterson, who's a kind of a slash running back slash wide out slash whatever you want to do kind of player. He's questionable with a thigh injury. So in the Lions, who Jeff Okudah used to play for, Taylor Decker, Kirby Joseph, not sure who those players are. Emmanuel Mosley, heard of him, cornerback. He's questionable. He's out. David Montgomery's questionable. Josh Reynolds questionable. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who better hope that dude's playing. It's all about what you believe, man, because it's like, do you believe that the Falcons 2-0 start is Fugazi, or you think that they got a nice, solid team? Because then they got some players. They got some players. Nice offensive line. Chris Winstrom at guard, and you got Kyle Pitts and Drake London. You got some players. Then Bijan Robinson in the backfield. You got some. Arthur Smith kind of how to put an offense together. Play a lot of run, play a lot of high percentage ball. He's not gonna put the ball in harm's way. Make you cover the whole field. That's a staple of Arthur Smith. So we're going to see Detroit, Dan Campbell, kind of like a kamikaze kind of coach, Arthur Smith kind of just sits on the side. You got Dan Campbell kind of almost like he want to turn cartwheels on the sideline, right? So you got kind of two kind of different things going, Jared Goff is playing some good football. Amon-Ra St. Brown, if he plays or, plays at close to his optimal level, he's a guy that's hard to cover, right? And of course they got a running back that they drafted in Jahmyr Gibbs. So to go with David Montgomery. So this is gonna be a good game, TK. I'm tempted to go with the Falcons, man. But somehow I'm thinking going to Ford Field. I think Campbell's gonna have his boys ready to play. I guess I gotta go with the Lions, man. If I gotta pick one, but I would not be upset if the Falcons won that, man, because I wouldn't mind it. The South region needs the Falcons to be good. I'm just gonna say that they need the Falcons to be good. But I'm going Lions.
Hey man, this is definitely one of my that's on my list for Sunday ticket tomorrow. Lions Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, looking forward to the Bijan and Jameer show.
Yep.
Two
Yep.
stud rookie running backs, and I think both are going to get a lot of action this week. So I'm sure fantasy football will love.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, man, I like this showdown. Two um, overachieving, young, exciting teams with rosters that are on their way up as opposed to down. And I'm going the other way though. I think Atlanta gets it
Okay.
done. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it'll be a little high scoring.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
plays
see
being
that.
made from both teams. And but yeah, I mean the weaponry. You know, when you talk about what Atlanta has, Atlanta quiet as kept, man. You know, if they can put it together at the quarterback position, they have a lot of talent.
To my Ritter.
Yeah,
He's playing good ball, man. He's playing good ball.
but you know,
Not turn the ball over, which is what an Arthur Smith staple. You can't turn the ball over for him. We play high percentage ball. You can't be flinging it all over the yard and getting it picked and stuff. And that's kind of like where Mariota kind of came up. Didn't he. And I know you know well about Mariota because he played for your team for some years. He ain't telling me nothing about Mariota that you don't know. I get that. So Arthur Smith got this guy, and he's playing efficiently, not turning the ball over, let your playmakers make plays, and defense is opportunistic. You almost selling me to change my pick, man. You almost get me to change my pick, but I'm gonna go Lions because I think I don't know. I kind of secretly root for them, because they kind of downtrodden. I like, come on, man. They 1 year, can they just make the playoffs and make a can you do that? So I kind of silently and behind the scenes kind of root for them a little bit. It's just kind of like back in the day, people booted for the Cubs until they won a World Series, and then kind of like, okay, I'm done with them now. It's sort of the same thing with the Lions. They one of 4 teams in the NFL that have never gone to a Super Bowl: the Browns, the Texans, and the Jaguars. I think the other 2 franchises, 4 other than those 2. So just a little trivia for you. Didn't know if you knew that. Anyhow, so we're splitting on that one. He's going Falcons. I'm going Lions on that one. So we'll see. But I agree with you. That will probably be one of the most exciting games of the early slots right there. So good game right there. Okay. We're just breezing on through these games, man. Let's see here. There's another good game. We got the Saints and the Green Bay Packers. I think that's going to be a good game. I think that's probably another one of the better games of the 12 o'clock slot. Okay. Which, like I said, is a 2 or 3 good games in the 12 o'clock slot, and really ain't none in the 3 o'clock slot. There's just games on the docket. They're like, okay, they're not going to be good, but this is one of the good ones at the 12 o'clock slot. So we got to look at, how well that because the Saints are 2-0, squeaking out a 1-point win over the Titans in week 1, and then kind of beating the kind of overmatched Panthers team on Monday night last week. I think it was like 27-9 or something like that, 20-9, something like that. Offense is starting to sort of come around, with Derek Carr and Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. And they also got Jamal Williams, who they got from the Lions. I'm not sure that my man. I can't. I'm not sure he's playing right now because I know he's facing some sort of punishment. So I'm sure he's not playing right now. Alvin Kamara. So, but I think they got enough offensive firepower, and then they've been a lot of the media saying that the offensive line is not as strong as it should be. So that's one of the drawbacks. And maybe Derek Carr's maybe have to throw the balls a little quicker than he would normally. But Derek Carr's a solid quarterback. They got good wide receivers, and their defense is just solid. With Jordan, Cam Jordan, Mario Davis, and of course you got the corner. I always forget his name, man. That came out of South Carolina. Marshawn Lattimore. I always forget his name, man. Their defense is formidable. So, of course, on the other side, you got Jordan Love trying to find his way. I think Christian Watson plays today to go with Romeo Dobbs. Aaron Jones, I think will play. Of course, he was out last week when they played the Falcons. Yeah, Aaron Jones is questionable. Christian Watson is questionable with a hamstring. Zaire Alexander, he don't play. That's big because he's one of the better corners in the NFL. Probably I would put him top 5. And David Bakhtiari, that dude's been injured off and on the last 3-4 years, man. So they got some big time guys on questionable, but what questionable means is more times than likely you will play. You just won't be playing at 100%. That's the way I usually like to put that. And of course, now I'm just seeing here Jamal Williams is out with a hamstring. Okay, all right, that kind of changes things. The Saints are like 29 and like 12 the last like 5 years are on the road, like one of the best road teams in the NFL. I didn't know that too. Another trivia for you. Give me the Saints, man. Give me the Saints. I think this will be a tight game too. But I guess I'll take the Saints. Man. I'm changing. I'm going Packers. I'm going Packers. This how tight I think this game's gonna be. Okay. I'm going Packers.
Yeah, man. I was going Green Bay at home all the way. It'll be a tight game. Two of the best defenses in the league are in this one. Saw that Saints defense up close in week 1. They nasty. But so is Green Bay's defense. It'll be, there's a whole lot of mud fights in this week. A whole lot of tight games is built around, the run game and defense. That's the type of style you like as a fan, man. It's a lot of games that fit that mold this week, and this is one of them. Jordan Love looks stout enough, looks confident enough, looks steady enough that I feel comfortable. I'm feeling like he'll hold serve and take care of business at home. So, Green Bay.
You going Green Bay as well?
Yeah.
Okay, we're both going Green Bay on that one. But like I said, I think the Saints are formidable. Like I said, the defense is formidable. But now I looked at us and dang, they really ain't got no running game now because they got Jamal Williams out. I'm like, man, how they gonna run the football? You're not going, now I think their offensive line is suspect. You have Derek Carr running for his life. And I say, and I think, the Packers with all their, seem like their skill position set, to go with Aaron Jones. You got what's the kid from Boston College, the big running back. You got the Packers got weapons now. They're not bereft of weapons. It's just a matter of how well you think Jordan Love can play, how well he can distribute the football, not make mistakes. Because if he can just play football, I think that team wins 10 games. If they can just play football. But if he throws the ball all over the yard and gets it picked and whatnot, then they're not, they're not gonna get nowhere.
Pretty solid.
But give me the Packers. Give me the Packers.
Yeah.
So after much hand wringing, I'm going with the Packers. All right. Then here now. I said earlier it's going to be a couple of games. I said the New England Jet game is going to be a game that really could set the stage and set the my thing just went in the red here. So okay, I may have been a little glitchy. Okay. power sound like it's strength signals kind of going up and down here, going from red to yellow to green. So maybe because we can hurry up and get on through here. All right. So, and I said earlier that there was a couple of games that was going. That this game would kind of chart the paths that these two teams would be going. And so this game here is really going to pick. It's going to chart. It's like a fork in the road, and you're going to whichever way this game goes, going to chart the path for the rest of the season, right? So right here you got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings. Now the Los Angeles Chargers have gone 0-2. They've scored at least 24 points in both games. They've moved the football in both games. They've not turned the ball over in no games, but yet they wake up today and they're 0-2. A lot of things you could point to. Maybe the defense not getting stops when they need to. Can they not get timely offense when they need? Because they had a chance to win the game against the Dolphins in game one, but they couldn't get pass protection when it mattered. Okay. Last week against the Titans, they couldn't get quality plays off on third down when they needed to retain the football. I kind of saw a lot of that when last year when Kellen Moore was at Dallas. Certain times of the game, it's like you can't figure out how to do like the plays that keep the chains moving. You know, I'm not trying to blow the game open. I'm just trying to get a play to keep the chains moving where I can retain the football, where I can do, and as much as they've done offensively, they find themselves 0-2. And I feel like if they find themselves after this week going 0-3, because I think it's a 1% chance if you go 0-3 that you make the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs, I look for them to be a shakeup on that team in terms of coaching staff and different things and stuff like that. I think a guy like Kellen Moore would be safe because he just got there, But if you change the head coach, obviously, somebody could come in and put his own staff together or whatever. So Vikings, the team people had a lot of promise for, but they find themselves 0-2, having lost to Tampa Bay and having lost to the Eagles, which they played well enough to have beaten the Eagles. Had a couple of unfortunate things happen to them last week, like Justin Jefferson reaching the ball over the pylon and losing control of it, letting it go out the end zone and giving up a touchdown and making it a touchback. And they lost by 6. This game is a game of inches sometimes, man. Sometimes that's the difference of being 1-1 and 0-2. So, and I think this game here is going to determine where they go. Because, like I said, if you go 0-3, chances are you're not going to make the playoffs. So now, me saying all that huggaboo, talent-wise, I'm going with the Chargers. But I think for some reason, man, I'm thinking the Vikings playing at home, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne. I think they get the win. I think a lot of people are going to pick the Chargers to win this, and they may, because they're talented enough to win this one by a touchdown or two. But I think Minnesota's playing for something this week too, and they're playing at home, and I just can't see going 0-3 in front of the home folk. I got the Vikings, but it's not because I think that they're better than the Chargers.
I got the Vikings. They're the home team. This is probably going to be one of the top 2 or 3 games of the week in terms of excitement, scoring.
Oh, yeah.
High scoring to me. It's 2 desperate teams that are going to throw everything at the wall this week. A lot of talented, skill position players between JJ and Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. I mean, there's going to be fireworks in this one. I know they just recently acquired Cam Akers for their backfield. Probably doesn't play this week, but yeah, man, this got that feel of like that 38-34 type of game, high scoring, a lot of excitement down to the wire. give me the home team. I couldn't confidently pick in the Chargers to do anything, man. They're great for blowing games like this. Unfortunately for them. So I wouldn't even be surprised if something wacky and weird happens at the end, and the Chargers are on the losing end of that. It's kind of been their theme and motto for the past few years. So, you know, yeah. All that aside, man, I'm going with the home team. It's one of those games that's definitely on my list. I'll be tuned in. I think it's going to be a good one. Give me the home team, man.
The whole team, home team. Like I said, home team. You can't go 0-3 for your home fans. And whoever don't win this game, his chances are they're not making the playoffs. And you hate to see it because you start out the season, you think, oh yeah, Chargers making the playoffs. Oh yeah, Vikings making the playoffs. They're just probably not going 13-4 like they went last year, but they're making the playoffs. I mean, you would think that, right?
Yeah.
And then the season kicks off, and that's why they say why you play the games. You see them losing to Tampa Bay because everybody's saying Tampa Bay not good. And Tampa Bay is sort of playing formidable football, man. So so that's why you can't really go by last year's thing. You got each year is a kind of it's a season unto itself, and them points you scored last year don't transfer to this year. So anyway, we got that one. So we both got the Vikings. And here's the last of the 12 o'clock games. I think you got, and this is probably not going to be much of a game, but this division is kind of pulls the better teams down into the muck in so many ways. You got the Texans at the Jaguars. Jaguars, talent-wise, I mean, come on, Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne. What's the tight end they got from the Giants? Golly, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Evan Ingram. Dude, that's a talented team. And they got just enough players on defense. Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, the pass rushes. And of course, they got my man from Georgia, the pass rusher. Of course, his name escapes me too, Trayvon Walker. So I mean, on paper, this should be 35-7. All right, but they don't play them on paper. Okay. But I got Jacksonville probably by, let's say, 28-13, something like that.
Yeah, man, it's Jacksonville all the way. Credit to D'Amico Ryans if he does have those guys fighting down there in Houston. So,
They're fighting.
they put up a fight. Problem is, for this week, they won't have Derek Stingley Jr. It's a big loss for them on the outside, especially with Calvin Ridley coming in. So, yeah, it's got that 31-13 type of feel to me.
Yeah, we thinking the same way on that.
Yeah, Jacksonville all the way.
Yeah, see, Josh Allen is questionable. I should have looked at the injury report first. Zay Jones is out. That kind of hurts a little bit. That just makes it they've scored 3 less points. That's all that's gonna do. And I don't see any. Okay, the Texans, Denzel Perryman, Derek Stingley. That's a big one. Jalen Pitre, safety. Tavier Thomas. Okay. As long as Will Anderson is playing and the quarterback is playing and Damian Pierce is playing, that they got the compliment of their player, but they still ain't gonna score for 13 points. So I got 28-13. He got like a 31-13 type thing. So we both got the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I have seen over the years in that division, somehow those big good teams go into Houston, go into Indianapolis, and they get pulled down into the mud or something, and it ends up being like I don't know. I just see that. I see that a lot in that division, in that AFC South. I see that. teams like, dude, you know you way better than that team. Why is it a 13-13 game going to the fourth quarter? Just kind of happens like that. But we both got Jacksonville, right? We both got Jacksonville. All right. Now, afternoon games, okay? Kind of booty. Afternoon games are kind of booty, all right? First one, we got the Panthers, Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks.
I got Seattle.
I came into this. Yeah, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I came to this season thinking that the Carolina Panthers could be sneaky good. I'm not thinking that anymore. Their offensive line is trash. Their receiving core is kind of trash. I mean, you got Adam Thielen. He's not. I don't think he's not been totally healthy. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. We'll get to the more competitive games. Of course, Bryce Young is out with an ankle injury. So I'm trying to think. They're going with Andy Dalton. Yeah, that automatically qualifies you for an L. You putting Andy Dalton behind center, man. Seahawks don't have nobody really. They got some guys. Let's see, Kobe Bryant is out, and Charles Cross, that's talented left tackle. He's out. Will Disley is questionable. Tarek Wooten is questionable. No, doubtful. They got some guys not playing, so that will make it a little closer. But I got Seattle. I think they had a little hiccup against the Giants the Rams in the first game. They kind of got it right last week against the Lions. I think Seattle is sneaky good. If Geno just plays like last year's Geno, he got way more talent this year than he had last year with the pickup of Jackson Smith and Jigba and the kid they got from UCLA. I want to say his name is Charbonnet. And the cornerback they got from Illinois. That's why it's like Tarek Wooten being out ain't exactly a doubtful, not exactly a bad thing because they got enough cornerback depth that can stomach it. But I got Seattle, man. That I think is probably won't even be close. Then we got the Bears at the Chiefs. And then we got teams really, and I'm gonna say this: the Chiefs really not playing at full capacity, really. When I say full capacity, I'm not saying that they're not playing with their complement of players being injured or not or whatever, that kind of thing. I'm just saying for some reason they're just not hitting on all cylinders. Like if it was an 8-cylinder car, they roll on like six cylinders. It's enough to get you where you need to go, but you're not getting there as efficiently as you would normally be. And that's kind of how I see the Chiefs offense being. I look at that game last week. I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw for like 305 yards. Now, dang, you couldn't manage with 17 points? Jacksonville converts a couple of them in the red zone. I think they had like 4 drop passes in the red zone and 4 missed opportunities in the red zone. They could have easily won that game. They only won 17-9. So we'd be looking at the Chiefs team that's sitting at 0-2 with a lot of question marks to be answered because they had all their players last week. Chris Jones played. They signed him. And you got Jason Kelce, who me and TK talked earlier this week. So you kind of forget because as good as Jason Kelce has been, not Jason, but Travis Kelce has been, you forget he's 35. I'm like, oh, yeah, dang, yeah. And they're not really blessed in the offensive skill position play. Kadarius Toney is not playing like how he was drafted when the Giants drafted him back in 2021. Right? He's not playing to that standard. Okay, played good last year, played well in the Super Bowl. Dude had 1 catch for 1 yard against the Lions. I don't know. I didn't look at the stats for last week, but they won. I don't know what he did, but Richie James, he's all right. He's not no world beater. They got a dude, Rashid Rice, I think they picked up out of TCU. He's decent. He's a rookie. Sky Moore kind of hadn't played as well. His folks thought he was going to play. I know Pat is the dude, but you got to have players to play with you. And and you're playing a Bears team that's got a lot of things going on that they ain't got nothing to do with football. Stuff going on behind the scene. They defensive coordinator Alan Williams just retired, just resigned under some, and I'm not going to get into all that because it's ongoing things going on and break-ins and stuff. It's all a mess with the Bears right now. That being said, man, the Chiefs playing at like 65, 75%. The Bears coming in with problems. I still got the Chiefs winning by 2 touchdowns.
I'm personally interested in this game. I hear what people, you're not far from the only person on that bridge, but I think the way the Chiefs are playing, it's their new reality. Tyreek Hill not walking through that door. Um, their ability to be dynamic and explosive offensively, that may not walk through that door. Um, the way they're playing, I think that's their new reality is by committee. You need a couple of these young guys to just be formidable. Tom Brady went through this in his illustrious career. He had seasons and periods of times throughout it where he just had to make do. And I think that's where Patrick is right now. He'll lean heavily on Travis, of course, but for the most part, it's just about making do week in and week out. And they trust that, he's the one of one type of elite talent that can do it, and he is. And so, that, but as far as expecting some explosive Chiefs offense to suddenly materialize, I don't know that that's coming. I think this is who they are, and they'll learn how to win this way. And fortunately, that's a possibility because their defense is starting to really round out and become formidable. And so it allows Patton and the offense to win games like this, win, slugfest, win tough, contested, matchups that require grit. It's how you win championships at the end of the day. So it's a great lesson for them. And I think they're open to the lesson. I think they're leaning all the way in. I that's them. That's the Chiefs. I would say I don't think who they were in the past is who they're going to be in the present. What we're seeing is what we're going to get from them. Which, as long as they're able to scrap wins out, that's fine. On the other side, man, I'm never going to jump on the Justin Fields hate train.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I like Justin Fields, man. I think he's talented, and I just think they got to figure it out at the end of the day. As far as this week, I think you got to let him. If he's saying, he feel like the reins are a little tight, loosen it up, man. Let him get out there and make plays with his feet and improvise and do the things that he's naturally gifted at doing. And let's see. So hopefully his public concerns with the restrictions on the offense will loosen it up a little and we'll get a little better showing. Granted, he's going up against one of the better defenses in the league this week, so there's no way you expect those guys to beat the Chiefs, but if you're thinking level-headed, but hey, man, I'd love to see him, break out a little bit, man, get some confidence going this week, make a play or two with his feet, send something over the top to DJ, just get some confidence going and, and build on what's probably going to be a rough season for them guys, man. It's probably not what they expected considering the money they spent on both sides of the ball, but
and some good draft picks. They had some good draft picks too. They drafted pretty well.
As far as putting it all on the shoulders of Justin Fields, man, I can't do that. I won't do that. He's a talented guy. So even if, if they decide to be done with him, somebody else will get a talented QB and still, still got some promise. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it as far as this week, man. Chiefs all day. Come on now.
Chiefs all day.
Pat.
I don't want to belabor this game too long, but I want to. These two teams, there's a lot of cross-pollination with these two teams. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Your former head coach is the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, right? The Bears GM used to be the associate GM for the Chiefs. Okay. I want to say one of the wide receivers, one of the reserve wide receivers for the Chiefs. I want to say his name is golly, I can't think of his name, but he played for the Bears now. And I had always said that the Bears should have made Eric Bieniemy their head coach. And I think they are ruining the day or bemoaning the time that they did not make him the choice, because you would have liked to have had a guy with an offensive mindset to be able to groom Patrick Mahomes. I mean, to groom who worked with Patrick Mahomes to groom Justin Fields. And me and my workmate was talking about this we talked about 15 minutes about this, and I was like, people act like Justin Fields is like some sort of bum quarterback. Remember, this dude's like the number 2 quarterback coming out of college about 5 years ago, out of high school about 5 years ago, right behind Trevor Lawrence. He's right there with him. Some people had him ahead of him, right? And it's like y'all come in here like he a bum, like he can't play. And I fought Matt Nagy for it because he didn't put any easy throws for him. I watched them all through 2021. I ain't see no screens. I didn't see no rollout passes. I didn't see no dump offs to the tight ends. I didn't see no misdirections. I didn't see what I saw late in the season. I would see him just take off and run and make chicken soup out of chicken something else and just make it work, right? Because he's got that kind of raw athletic talent. And Matt Nagy didn't really do him no favors to me and ended up getting him fired and ended up going right back home to Kansas City. And so they end up with Matt Eberflus, who's a defensive coach. So it means he got to go get him. He went and got the Green Bay Packers quarterback coach as their offensive coordinator, whatever. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. And I'm watching them, and I would think, and I look at a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. You took a guy like Jalen Hurts and said, you know what? I'm not going to ask him to drop back 35 times a game. I'm going to put in an offense that he can be based on what he does well while he learns the nuances of the position. That's just make too much sense to do. Why can't you do that? Why can't they do that?
Yeah, man. I'm with you as far as Bieniemy would have been a great choice for Chicago. It made a lot of sense. And Mr. Bowman.
I don't know, man. And so I think a lot of times, I know we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago at the University of Alabama with Jalen Milroe. And I was like, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there's a lot of loose ends and stuff with this. And a lot of times coaches will try to fit square pegs in the round holes. And that's not the way coaching is done now. Back in the days, like, hey, this is my system. You learn my system, you don't play football for me. Okay. That's the old school system. That's the 3 yards in the cloud of dust system. That's the way, the Tom Landry system back in the day, the Don Shula system back in the day, or some of the old school coach. That's the way they used to coach, right? Mm-hmm. Today, it's like, okay, I got this guy. This is what he can do. These are the throws he can make. These are the plays that he likes. I'm going to formulate my offense around what he does. And it just makes too much sense to do it that way. And I'm gonna make Justin Fields a drop back pass and make him throw it 35 times. What are we doing? What are we doing? So didn't mean to rant on that, but it is Uncle Fred rants, and I got rants on certain things every now and then. I gotta get on my soapbox and, you know, say things what I think is stupid, and I gotta speak on them. And that's just one of the things. And I think they messing this kid's career up. You know, that's unfortunate, man, that you messing this kid's career up. You making it be put out there that this kid can't play. You know, sometimes it's hard to overcome that. So that's all I'm saying. I'm done. I'm get off my rant. Okay. First game we got the second game we both got the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Then here come the coup de grace that come to me. Last game of the 3:00 games. You got the Dallas Cowboys at the Arizona Cardinals. As a Cowboy fan, I got on my Cowboy regalia and stuff, and everybody sees my Cowboy chair that I'm sitting in, my Cowboy gong that's sitting behind me, so everybody know how my bread is buttered. Cowboys suffered a brutal loss Thursday afternoon, losing Trayvon Diggs, and I think Trayvon. We talked about this earlier before. I tell you a lot of times the show before the show is probably better than the show that actually goes on air. Sometimes we'll talk an hour before we even start taping. So sometimes the show off the air is more insightful than the stuff goes on. That sometimes maybe we saying it in a manner or using language and they fit for public consumption. But maybe we thought with Diggs and Gilmore and other guys in that deep secondary, maybe that made it unfair to the other teams. Maybe that just made it unfair. And if you believe in the football gods and stuff like that, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But if you believe in that, maybe they said, you know what, that's just too much, man. That we got to give the other offenses a chance. So we're gonna take Trayvon Diggs from you. Now you got to just play honest defense now, because the way we was doing it, TK, because I watched some different content creators who do like a lot of film study. And I was studying some of that stuff, and they were showing. They said the Cowboys are one of the rare teams that can get dynamic pressure only sending 5 players.
For sure.
But in order to block them 5, you got to keep 7 players in. Your 2 offensive linemen, a tight end, and maybe or maybe you play 2 tight ends. That would be, like 7, like 8. 6 along the offensive line and maybe a back. That's keeping 7 to 8 players in to block them 5, which means that you're only sending 2 into the pass pattern. Mm-hmm. But we're still covering them 2 with 6.
Yeah.
And you got 2.5 seconds to make that where that number 2 them 2 players is going covered by 6. Mm-hmm. That's a hard sell, TK.
For sure.
That's hard. I gotta make a decision. But them 2 guys is blanketed by 6 guys. 1, 2 dudes underneath him, and 2 like lockdown corners on the outside that I can't just fling it out there because it's gonna get picked. How do you play that? That's why in the first couple of games, man, they were just playing with those teams. Like, yeah, you got 2 seconds, 3rd and 5. Good luck, because Micah coming. Yeah. He's coming every play. He was doing so much, man. He's doing freaking what you call those things? Fault steps at the line of scrimmage. He was doing them. Like people, what do you call those things? TK, what you call it when you playing basketball? He was doing jab steps.
Yeah.
At the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Like, he's doing that now? Like jab step, like you think I'm coming at you? You think I'm coming? You think I'm coming at? No, I ain't coming. You think I'm coming? Yeah, he was doing that, and they couldn't do nothing with him. So we take Trayvon Diggs from us. So now we move DaRon Bland over there. Move Jordan Lewis, who hadn't played in about half a season, coming off of Liz Frank. He's coming to the slot. That's probably where they're going to attack, because they probably feel like he ain't had no live missiles in 6 months. That's if I'm playing deep offense, that's who I'm going after. I'm not going after Bland first. Dude had 5 picks last year, right? And so now we're playing the Arizona Cardinals. We're going down to Arizona. They really don't have a lot of players. You got Josh Dobbs. You got Zach Ertz. That's about it. You got What's the running back's name? They got you got Connor, James Conner. That's about all you got. That's about all you got. So I would have thought maybe if they didn't lose Diggs, they might go into this game like, oh man, we so good, we ain't really got to focus. We can just, they can't really score on us or whatever. But now that they lost Diggs, like, oh dude, we got to kind of ratchet it up now. We kind of, we shortchanged here a little bit. And I think they're gonna come in with a little more focus than they would have had. And I think the Arizona Cardinals are gonna pay the price for that. I got the Cowboys big, obviously. You know what else I'm gonna say? What I'm gonna say? Cowboys gonna lose? Never, ever. I got the Cowboys 37, Cardinals 6.
You covered it. Nothing else to add on that.
So that's what I got on that. I got that. I mean, now going forward, I think it's gonna be some things we got to do. We got to play the Patriots next week, and then we got to go to Levi Stadium in 2 weeks.
Big one.
That's where we're gonna have to we got to see how this thing gonna play out, man. Because that was a team. The 49ers was a team. I feel like we needed all our pieces on the field to play. And so, but we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see how it works, right? We're gonna see. All right, now we got a Sunday night game. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on. We talked about this off camera. We ain't gonna give all the stuff we talked about off camera. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at the Oakland Raiders. A lot of what we call staunch old school football fans from two big time fan bases. Fan bases that's got armor, that's got Lombardi trophies, but not recently, because we don't have one of these recently either. So Raiders ain't had one since 83, 84, something like that.
Lombardi? Yeah. The Raiders definitely had one before this.
I don't even know if it was called that then. I don't think it was even called that then. It was called something different when they played then. I just mean a Super Bowl trophy. Okay, that's that way. That's me. I don't know what the Raiders are doing, man. They kind of. Let me look at the injury report right quick. You can go ahead and give your spiel on it. I like the Steelers' defense is where I was going with that. Steelers' defense. Go ahead.
I got the Raiders, man.
You got the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Really not a whole lot of. They really don't have. No. Steelers only got Gunnar Olszewski. Tight end, wide receivers out. The Raiders got Tyree Wilson. That's that pass rusher they got from Texas Tech last year. It was like one of the best players in college last year. He's out with some sort of questionable, with some sort of illness. I don't know what the Raiders are doing though, but I know they Jimmy. The thing is, you gotta look at. Do you believe Jimmy Garoppolo can maintain against that Steelers defense? That's the question you got to ask yourself, because Highsmith and T.J. Watt, they formidable when it comes to coming after the quarterback. They're formidable. Like I'm not be talking about Michael T.J. coming. He coming for you. He's definitely coming. Okay. Alex Highsmith, he's coming. Those guys are coming, right? Jimmy can get a ball to the other team sometime too, man. So
yeah, that Steelers pass rush is fierce, but their rush defense as a collective not so great. So this is definitely a Josh Jacobs game to sort of set a tone, man. And from there, I watched that Steelers because they were in prime time. I watched that Steelers offense, man, and first 2 weeks, Monday night against Cleveland, good defense. Opening week against San Francisco, good defense. It didn't look good to me. So this Raiders defense isn't on the level of those two teams. So we'll see if they can open the field up and get more going. But from what I saw, I got more confidence the Raiders can put points on the board. I'm going with the Raiders.
You're going with the Raiders. You know what? I'm glad we do these little like talking points while we picking these games, because sometimes you know, people get food for thought to like, because you make me think about something when you give your little soliloquy about the game. It was something I didn't even consider. That's why we do this like this, like this, right?
Yeah.
You said something like, yeah, the Steelers got a good defense, but not necessarily against the run. Because now that you mentioned it, I saw Christian McCaffrey bust off like a 60-yard run against the 49 against them in game 1. I saw Jerome Ford bust off like a 50-something yard run last week.
Yeah.
In relief of Nick Chubb.
And Chubb was on his way to a big one. He's on his way to a big day for that injury.
And so that started to make me think, man, maybe they defense up against the run, they ain't, and you hate saying that because they got guys up front like Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward is one of the best defensive linemen in the game, right? You would think that he should be able to hold his own, and then with TJ and them other guys doing their thing, you would think that they wouldn't be getting bludgeoned up front like that, Well, that's a good observation, man. That's a very good observation. That's a good observation. Might make me change my pick because because I always like how the business like atmosphere or the business like approach that the Steelers go about doing their business. I've always been respected the way they do their business. They draft like they draft. They dibble every now and then in free agency. They draft how they draft. No nonsense. We play football. We ain't getting into we're not getting into the newspapers. We're not getting into the front. We're not making headlines. We're not we just play. We play football. I wish my team did more of the other stuff. I appreciate that approach to the game. That's why sometimes I roll with them. Remember, I had picked them. We talked about this off screen because we didn't do a pick 'em show for weeks 1 and 2. I had picked the Steelers against the 49ers. I thought their pass rush was going to get to Purdy and make Purdy throw it to him a couple times, right? And TJ got 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, but they weren't able to sustain them defensively otherwise. So. That's a good point. So I guess I'm gonna go Raiders too. They're playing at home. You talk me into it. I usually don't get talked into another pick when I got my headset going another way. So yeah, you did something ain't nobody else ever did, man. You put a feather in your cap on that one. I ain't never did that. I ain't never changed my pick on that, man. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm going in. I said, hey, you know what? That is something to that. There's something to that. So I'm gonna go Raiders against my better judgment. I'm gonna go Raiders. Now if they go wrong, I'm like, we're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting come our next. All right, we're getting ready to close this thing out. We've been blessed, but I don't think it's a good blessing because I think they need to do the logistics and it need to be better. We talked about this off camera too. I get one of the cameras kind of in the wrong place here. Zip that here the other way here. Yeah, there we go. All right. It's a treat to me as a football fan to get 2 Monday night football games. Now me, I work nights. I work Monday nights. I'm working nights, so I'm watching the game on my phone while I'm supposed to be working. I get my work done though. Don't let that get out. But it's a treat. I got 2 Monday night games, right? But you can't. You cannibalizing your product when you have 2 Monday night games and they're both in the Eastern time zone. You kind of not getting the full benefit of having 2 games because the way that's supposed to work and the way you're supposed to get your whole fan base to watch, you get more viewership is you can get an East Coast game and a West Coast game, and you maybe only maybe like a quarter's worth or half a quarter's worth of overlap. Say if the game went late or late in the game ran long because it's a tight game and the team's calling timeouts while they're trying to get in the field goal range and stuff. And other games are starting kicked off, and you may get like 3 or 4 minutes of the other game, but for the most part, you're getting 2 full games. That's the way this thing's supposed to work. Like this, so this week we got 2 games on Monday night, like they had 2 games last Monday night. I think you had Carolina and New Orleans, and then you had Steelers and the Cleveland Browns last week. Okay. This week you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got the Philadelphia Eagles going to Tampa Bay to take on the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then you got the 1-1 Los Angeles Rams going to Cincinnati to take on the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, now if the Bengals-Rams game was in LA, we'd be sitting pretty. We'd be sitting pretty. You got an East Coast game, you got a West Coast game. Start the East Coast game at 6:15. A little early for a Central Time Zone, folks, but fine. We'll make do. It's a little hour earlier than we used to. That's fine. We'll make it work. Start the West Coast game at which will be 8 o'clock our time, 8:15 our time, be 9 o'clock Eastern time, be 6 o'clock Western time. It works. You got 2 teams in the Eastern time zone. Kind of not working, man. Not working for me. Okay. Another soapbox thing. So let's pick the games. So you got Philly going into Tampa Bay, playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A surprising 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is playing well. I think Baker Mayfield is playing well. I don't think he's turned the ball over. Mike Evans is being Mike Evans. I really thought he was going to be going somewhere else before trade deadline because I thought Baker Mayfield ain't going to be able to get him the football. They ain't want to give him his contract. They ain't want to talk. He going to be out of here by trade deadline. But a funny thing happened on the way to the market, man. Baker Mayfield somehow figured out how to play quarterback, and Mike Evans, being the professional that Mike Evans is, because I always thought he was professional. Because whatever they did, Mike Evans going to show up and give you 6 catches for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what he does. That's what he does, right? And he's doing that. And defensively, they're doing Tampa Bay's doing what they're doing. With the linebackers, Devin White, they're doing. I can't think of what the big dude named, the big Pacific Islander dude, the big dude. Dang it, can't think his name. He'll come to me in a minute. But they holding their own, man. Their defense is formidable. Their head coach is a defensive coordinator. The defensive man, and so their defense is playing lights out football. So Philadelphia comes in down there. Offense really not hitting on all cylinders. They 2-0. But Jalen Hurts said it himself. We're not playing up to our standard. If you watch the game against the Vikings last Thursday, Philadelphia fans was actually booing them. There was a chorus of boos coming from the peanut gallery as they can, 3 and out. Jalen was missing throws. Guys were getting stuffed in the backfield. Guys wouldn't, they was getting booed. This team just went to the Super Bowl, right? Tells you, maybe what kind of fans those are. Because they just went to the Super Bowl. You think really you should boo these guys? But they know what they were seeing crap on the field, so they was booing them. So did that little wake up call? Did that resonate to them and allow them to go into Tampa Bay and win this game? I say yes. Now, it take everything in my being not to go with Tampa Bay. Because it won't hurt my feelings at all if the Eagles lose this game and lose the next 6. Wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit. All right? But I just think they've got too much talent to go into Tampa Bay and lose this game. I just think there's too much talent on that team. I think Jalen is too much of a professional. He's too much of he just made of that right stuff too much to go down in there and lay an egg. I got Philly winning that one, but I think it might be closer than folks think. But I got Philly.
Yeah, man. I'm the other way with this, man. I think.
Wow.
No,
Really?
not in the way you think. I got Philly, but I think Baker Mayfield comes down out of the clouds this week.
Okay.
I think that Eagles defense, they need a confidence booster. They know they have all the talent in the world. They know what they're capable of. I think this week they show it to themselves. They turn Baker over a few times, put a lot of pressure on that O line in Tampa. I think this is the game Philly not only wins, but it's like, okay, we know what we're capable of. And this is the game where we show it to ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got Philly, and I'm not going to say it's going to be a boat race in terms of the scoreboard, but in terms of the dominance on both sides in the trenches, I think Philly has a point to prove, and I think that they'll prove it this week. This is the week they show it to themselves. So 27-17 feels more dominant than it is, than the scoreboard presents type game. Yeah.
Okay.
Philly. Philly for sure.
Okay. So we're not in disagreement in terms of the score of the who wins. It's just in the context of the game.
Sure.
Okay, I see what you're
Things
saying.
gonna get nasty in the trenches, man.
Okay,
Yes.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that happening. Okay. But one thing I thought that maybe would make it not be a boat race, because I think talent-wise, Philly just has more talent. I just think that maybe Todd Bowles maybe gonna have a defense for the offense that Philly runs that will make them scuffle a little bit. That's what I was thinking. Now, I ain't above Baker to start. Remember, he Baker Mayfield. I ain't saying that. I think Baker Mayfield is not above remembering he Baker Mayfield, right? He's not above that. All right.
On me.
Yeah. He's not above remembering like, hey, wait a minute. Am I supposed to be leading the league in all these categories? Or am I supposed to be having about 5 picks by now? So, but I just think that Todd Bowles is going to have a plan for that offense that Philly runs. Philly runs an offense kind of not like a whole lot of other teams run. I'm not calling it gimmicky, but it's a different kind of offense, and it's most time teams ain't prepared to play that. The game, for example, the game they played against Minnesota, they was trying to play something different. Because remember, they got a different offensive coordinator than they had from last year. Shane Steichen is in Indianapolis now. So they turned the reins over to Brian Johnson. Okay. He was trying some different stuff. And it really wasn't working that well. It really wasn't. I noticed it, and that's when the folks was booing because they weren't converting on third down. They was punting the ball. They punted the ball like 4-5 straight consecutive possessions. And then it's like they decided, you know what, dadgummit, we got the best offensive line in football with Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce and what's my man's name from Alabama, the center, the guard, Landon Dickerson. We can just line up and plow motor these guys, and that's what they did. They ran the ball like 16, 17 consecutive times, just ran it down their throat, and they couldn't do nothing with it. And that's where they got back control of the and made Minnesota have to commit guys to the line of scrimmage. Next thing you know, Devontae Smith get behind the corner, boom, 52-yard touchdown. Okay. So sometimes you got to get back to the basics. So that's what I'm saying. I just think Todd Bowles smart enough. He'll come up with something. But then with Baker pulling the trigger, good a defense as the Philadelphia Eagles got, they're going to force him into a turnover or two. So that's why I said, yeah, I think Philly wins it. but I think it might be a little closer than folks think. So that's just my rationale. Okay. Game 2, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. Another game that's going to decide something, because I think the Rams are in whatever they basically, to me, from what they're putting on the field, they're playing with house money. To me, they're playing with house money to me, because it's like nobody expected them to be 1-1. Nobody thought they were going to beat Seattle, and nobody thought they was going to be competitive against the 49ers last week. They led that game in the second half. Don't let nobody fool you on that. They took what's that dude named Kyron Williams? That dude plowed into the end zone and go up 17-13 in that game. They led that game, or 20, I think 17-13, something like that. They led in that game against the 49ers. Don't let that fool you, that looking at the final score, if they end up being 30-20. Don't let them fool you on that. They led in that game. So they have been competitive more than folks thought. Most folks thought they was heading for the lottery, heading for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, or the Drake Mays sweepstakes, or the Penix sweepstakes, whatever, or the Harrison Jr. sweepstakes, whatever, And they was like, no, we're gonna still play. Aaron Donald's still playing, quarterback still playing, we still playing, So they playing with house money. Cincinnati got to win this game, or they can forget about going, because you're not going 0-3 in the AFC and trying to think you're going to the playoffs. That's out. Yeah. That's out. And I think Cincinnati misplayed the whole Joe Burrow thing. I think Joe Burrow should be coming back right now to play this game, because they're 0-2 anyway. With a calf that's fully healed and whatever, like Jamar Chase said, that's my boy. Let my boy sit for 4 games and we'll be fine. We'll win a couple of them, maybe lose a couple of them, but when he get back, we'll be fine. He'll be 100% healthy. I think that's we're gonna go ahead and lost 2 games. Got smoked in game 1, and they played kind of okay against Baltimore, but and then he re-aggravated that calf. I got the Rams winning this, man. I got the Rams winning this. I think Cincinnati's going to be desperate. I think they need to win this game. And I think the Rams just, we'll win it if we can. And I think they go in there with house money and with nothing to lose, let it all fly. And I think the Rams come through. I think the Rams win this game.
Well, my thing is, if Joe's playing, which I assume he will, despite the injury, they, like you said, they have to win this game. They're just in that position now, early in the year. He'll have to gut through it. I expect him to be out there, even if it's probably not the best thing for him to do. But at least for this game, a game that you figure if we win this game, then it's a lot different being 1-2 than 0-3. Maybe we reevaluate and do what we should have done before, and maybe we sit them next week. But for this particular week and this game and their circumstances, I expect them out there, injury and all. And I'm picking our home team. I think he's out there. I think they find a way to get it done. They need to win to salvage the season. So it's a desperate playing at home. Maybe the desperate team playing at home.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me who's the better team, I'm going with Cincy. But I just think the situation that they find themselves in, like I said, the Rams ain't got nothing to play. They come in here like, man, we come in here footloose and fancy flea. Shoot, we might go for 4th down on our own side of the field. We might throw a couple of flea flickers at you. We might throw a fake punt at you, a fake field goal at you. We might run a halfback option pass. We ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't supposed to be doing this. And we come in this game. Matthew Stafford. He a gunslinger at his heart. He a gunslinger. They really ain't got a whole lot to throw to. They got that young dude. I can't think of his name. I can't remember how to say his name. Like Tattoo Manu something. It's a guy caught 15 passes the other game. You know, and you got Choo Atwell, and they got Choo Atwell.
Acuna, I think.
Yeah. And Kyron Williams is a nice back. He got, you know, they got rid of Cam Akers. I think he played for the Vikings now, if I'm not mistaken. They moved him to the Vikings. Some sort of internal things going on and whatnot. Yeah, whatever, you know. So we're gonna see. But I know the Bengals got to have this game, or they can just forget about going playoffs and anything. We're just gonna have a season. Then if you lose this game, you may as well sit Joe for a few games.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah. This
is a swing game. Unfortunate that it's game 3 of the season, but you know, similar to the Chargers and Vikings, it's just
right.
You gotta have it. So I'm gotta give. And at that point, if you do lose this game at home and you're sitting at 0-3, then yeah. At that point, you put them on the IR and let them rest up for a couple of weeks. But I think they're gonna have a different type of punch to them on Monday, because that's not a team that wants to punt this type of season away. So
right. Now, if you ask me who I hope wins, I'm going with Cincinnati, because I think that team has talent, and you know they got, you know, some good players all around. I think they're well coached. I just think they, you know, I think they got a shot at doing some special things if Joe's right, you know. And it would be a shame for a team with that much talent, that much to like be like almost out of the picture this early in the season. So that's why I'm like, I kind of hope. And the Rams really aren't. I don't think they're going to really do anything, but you know they're good enough to, you know, upset some folks' apple cart. You know, and I think they're going to upset some folks' apple cart before the season's over with. You know, already got Seahawks. You know, that they weren't expecting. You know, so I think they're gonna. So you got the Bengals. I got the Rams. Hope I'm wrong on this one, but we'll see. Now, as we often do, since we're only going to do these once a week, and we already missed and most time when we do this, the Thursday game is already played from the previous week. So what we have done to make it even, we'll pick the Thursday game from the next week so that we'll already be ahead of the game, and that way we kind of see what's going. So the next game, next Thursday night on Prime, is going to be September 28th. It's going to feature the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers, and that's promises to be a very spicy game. Those games are spicy before, and I'm not going to give a lot of verbiage on this one, because I'm doing this one without having seen what they're going to do Sunday, because I got the Packers winning and I got the Lions winning. Of course, you got the Falcons winning. Did you make me change to the Falcons? No. Did I change to the Falcons? No. Did I? I got to go back and roll tape. I know I changed on the Packers and Saints and went Packers. I don't think I changed on that one. I think I went Detroit. So I had Detroit winning that one. I think I had Detroit winning that one. I'm gonna pick the Lions to win this one, because I just think that, you know, I just think those teams are kind of evenly matched. I just think they're evenly matched, and I'm just picking the Lions. I just kind of like the whole thing a little bit better. I like the quarterback. I like the receivers. I like the, you know, I just kind of like that whole thing a little bit better than I like the Packers right now, for no other reason. So I'm gonna go Lions, you know, just for no other reason than that. So.
I don't always love the Thursday night matchups, but I like this one. But I got Green Bay.
You got Green Bay. I'm not mad at that pick. And don't look now. If the Packers win this Sunday against the Saints and then turn around in 3 days, 4 days, whatever this is, and win this game against the Lions, then they, you know, you got to start looking at them as being playoff considerate people, you know, and a lot of people didn't really have them like that. They didn't really, you know, have them as a team that can win that division. And right now, at that point, they'll be leading that division, because a lot of people were high on the Bears and high on the Lions. and not high on the Vikings because they thought they lost they lost the running back Cooks and whatnot. So it's gonna say a lot. It's gonna say something if they win. But whoever wins these next two games will kind of put themselves in the driver's seat in the NFC North. So I think there's gonna be some good spirited games and stuff. I'm looking forward to it. But man, that's all the games, man. We picked them. Probably ran a little long on the verbiage, but you get to talking football. I like to talk this stuff, man. And somebody likes to talk it with me, man. So we get in here and we talk our stuff. We think we know what we're talking about. And, sometimes we do, and ain't too many times we have egg on our face. But I've been wrong a time or two. But we'll see how this goes. But anyway, man. I wish you everybody a happy football watching Sunday. As I always say, man, those are the best days of the year. Sit back, watch your games, beverage of your choice, meat or snack of your choice. Kick your feet up, watch you a good game of 4 or 5, man. It don't get no better than that, man. It just don't. It just don't. It don't. Being a football junkie like me, man. Boy, I was doing this, man, when August was coming around, man. You think I was a crack addict, man. Like, man, September ain't got here yet. Junkie, man. And I ain't trying to get no treatment either. I ain't going to the meetings. I ain't going to the meetings, TK. I ain't going. All right. But that's all we got, man. Desk Uncle Fred of week 3 synopsis. And we'll catch you guys next week. We'll see how each of us did, and we'll pick our games next week. And like I said, we bid you a good football watching Sunday, and we'll catch you guys next week, man. God bless, man. We'll see you guys in the next video, man. Peace.